All right, starting this out a little early to make sure everything is working according to plan. And my camera's reversed, but we'll accept that for now. Just hang out for a bit and let the rest of the people come in. All right, let's see. Let me make sure my audio is good. It's a little delayed. Cool, audio's good. For those who are watching this, you can probably skip the first 3 to 4 minutes. I started about 4 or 5 minutes earlier, just to make sure everything is good. Just letting everybody know I started a little earlier. And now we wait. All right, let me know if you can hear me. All right, we got some people coming in. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I got a thumbs up. I'd imagine that means you can hear me. You should be able to type in the chat. If you can type in the chat, type something in there, just so I can make sure that that I can see your messages. Since on YouTube, I'm not sure if you can speak besides typing. Hey, Kia, how are you? I'm glad the chat's working. As usual, we'll give it about 4 to 5 minutes. Just let people come in. Let me double check that you can see my screen. My screen 2. Let me know if you can see my screen as well. Welcome to those just coming in. Let me know if you guys can see my screen and if you can hear me okay. You can put a little message in the chat. If you're not signed into your YouTube, you'll need to sign in order to type stuff in the chat. Sweet. I'm glad you can. For those who just came in, give about 3-4 more minutes and then we'll start. Just letting some people come in a little later. Sweet. Perfect. All right, cool. So my screen is working. Yeah, always give it a few more minutes and let everybody come in. How's everybody's day? Could be trading or just in general, doesn't matter. Fantastic. Glad to hear. Pretty great. Can't complain. A little busy. I just been moving into a new spot, getting all that situated. Trading wise today, just traded YM. When we get on the charts in a bit, I didn't do anything options wise. Tesla didn't really do anything in my favor that I wanted. So I just took four trades on YM today. Yeah, four trades. That went well. So I was looking at Nvidia. Let's see. I looked at Nvidia for a bit, but I was too busy trading YM, and then had a session that I had to pay attention to, so I got off the charts for a bit, and then I came back in the afternoon. We'll give it another minute, and then we'll start. Yeah, Nvidia didn't do much today. Let's see. So trade here. Oh yeah, didn't really do. Well, actually, this was today. All right. Whoever's late, they will catch the replay. Welcome, everyone. So this is the trade recap session, as always. Pretty much just going over trades that I took. I will also go over any trades that you guys took. We'll just go over it together and see what we did right. What we can improve, things like that. As always, I'm not a financial advisor, so anything that you guys see here is just for educational purposes. Trading does have its risks, so please do your research before you engage in trading. And with that being said, we'll start. And any questions that come up, anything you guys want to go over, just put it in the chat and then we'll go over it. But for me today, didn't really do much options wise. I did have Tesla. It gapped down and it opened up below the short trigger and already at one of our targets. So when that happens, I just wait for a TTO to set up. For those who are not familiar with what a TTO is, you'll have to study the strat. I'll post a link in the chat in a little bit for those who don't know what that is. But yeah, today, when Tesla triggered the short side, it opened up below our first target. So I didn't really do much. Literally that first candle opened up down here, just straight pump. And in these examples, what I would like to do if the 4-hour trigger leaves me, I'll just wait for a TTO to get in. In this case, none was presented, so I didn't do anything in that regard and just left it alone. While, of course, some people, what they like to do is if it comes back to entry, they'll get in for a short. Me personally, I don't like to do that because you might get a situation like what happened today where, actually, let me just bring up, so I don't go back and forth. Let me just bring up the 4-hour here. What I don't like to happen is, so when the 4-hour triggered to the short side and we opened up down here, even though it came back to entry for puts, it kind of just chopped around in this range all day. So sometimes, if it comes back to entry, you risk we getting this scenario where we're just chopping around sideways, or it'll come back to entry and then it'll turn into a 3. And Tesla loves to go 3 on the 4-hour, as we can see. 3, 3, 3 here, another 3, another 3. Literally every other day there was a 3 candle that printed on the 4-hour. So for me, if I miss the initial entry, I just wait for a TTL to get in. And if nothing happened, it is what it is. Tomorrow's another day. You never want to chase trades. So that was pretty much what I saw, what I didn't do on Tesla anyway. Let's go to YM. So I can't necessarily speak on most trades that I take for futures, just because I use trust my levels method that he taught me. And legally, I can't speak on that. So I can only speak on specific setups, like specific trade models, whether it be like ICT based or whatever it may be. So the only trades that I'll mention today for YM is going to be the tweezer model that I mentioned the other day, and that's in the Discord group in the playbook section that I added. So essentially, what was this? This is the 5 minute. I want to go on the 2 minute. So with the image that I showed you guys, I mainly went over it on the 5 minute, the 15 minute, and the 1 hour. It looks like it is valid on the other time frames. I just personally prefer to take it on the 5 minute, 15 minute, 1 hour, etc. Just because that's what I'm used to when I was back testing it. But looks like today I took it live on the 2 minute version and it worked fine. But essentially, this morning we had, it's a little different than the model, how I showed it to you guys, where, it's a big red candle and then another green candle that is 75 to 80% of the previous candle. And then you can catch that retracement up. And I'll show you guys an example on the 5 minute in a little bit. But in this case, this is more of a actual like tweezer setup. If you look at the Candlestick Bible as what I'm used to, what I mainly notice is what you want to look out for is when you get candles like this, where the bottom of it, it's kind of like basing out, if that makes sense. I don't really have a term for it, but the bodies are kind of flat on the bottom, and then you have the wicks like that. It's wicking out near the bodies of both candles. And then once we get the reversal back up, the move back up, once we reverse, then we can draw our fib levels from the bottom to the top right here. My blue line here is a 50 fib, and the 70 fib is this yellow one right here. So on the 2 minute, the tweezer setup didn't fill me literally until the end of the day. So pretty much right at market close, it filled me, and then I caught about 22 points, and then I just took it off. Usually I would go for 30 points minimum, but it was at the end of the day. I'm not trying to stay on for another hour waiting for the market to close or whatnot. So I just took it off as soon as it went 20 points in my direction. But the other one, like I was mentioning earlier, happened in the 5 minute. I believe it was right here. Actually, I have to zoom out real quick and redraw this. So this would be here. If not, it might have been an earlier one. I got to double check. Let's see. Might have been this one. All right. Yeah, I think it was this one. So like I mentioned, we get the low point before it reverses back up, and then the high point before it reverses back down. And then we just have a buy order sitting at the 70 fib. Stop loss will be 30 points. And then your take profit would be at least 30 points to the upside. And this is specifically on YM. I have different averages for the other tickers that other people may trade. But in this case, I didn't take this trade because I wasn't trading during this time. I just caught it after the fact, or I saw it after it already played out. I caught the other one that I showed you on the 2 minute. But this one here, as we can see, would have filled us right here on this candle on the 70. Didn't go against us by 30 points, thankfully. Only went against us by 16 points. And then it came up about, 42 points. So that would have been a nice trade right there. And then it kept on dying down. So Pretty solid trades today in that regard for the tweezer model. But yeah, that's pretty much all I did today. Do you guys have any questions on that before I go into your trades? And for those in the group, like I mentioned, if you go to the Playbook Setup channel, I've added everything here with explanations and then a video as well explaining it a little better. And for those who aren't in the group, you should definitely join us. I usually have these about 2 to 3 times a week. And then sometimes I'll have like open community ones like the one today that I'm having on YouTube. But feel free to join the community. You know, we mainly trade options and futures in there, but you know, regular stocks as well for those who just trade stocks. Crypto here and there, I don't really alert it too much because I like to sleep. And other than that, you know, there's a lot of good educational material in there to get you started. And it's only $25, one-time payment. So any trades that you guys took that you want to go over? On Tesla. All right, let's go to Tesla. Let me bring it up on TradingView because my chart is a little cleaner. When did you get in for Tesla, and what was the setup? And better question, Harsh, do you trade the strat just so it's a little easier for me to, you know, explain it? Is it better to wait 15 to 10 minutes instead of going in? It depends. You know, personal preference. When I first started, let me just get these levels real quick, and then we'll go from there. It wasn't about probably like early this year. I used to wait the first 5-10 minutes, but then I realized, you know, me waiting for that amount of time made me miss a lot of trades, and I just had to wait for TTOs. So in my case now, if it triggers 2-3 minutes into market open, I'll get into the trade. You know, I won't mind doing that. So as soon as it triggers, I'm getting into the trade. Granted, if it triggers within the first 5 minutes, I'll reduce my size just because of the volatility. So instead of using, let's say, 10% of my account in a trade, I'll probably use 5 or 7% for that specific trade if it's within the first 5 minutes of market open. Just because, you know, it can be a lot really volatile, and I don't want to risk too much immediately at market open. Now, if it triggers 5 minutes or 10 minutes later, I'll just use my regular position size at 10%. And that's what works for me. So in Tesla today, when exactly did you get in? If you have the exact contract and the exact price you paid, that can help me so I can, you know, give you a little more insight. So what time did you get in? The exact time, so we can get it down to the exact moment. And then when did you get stopped out? So 177, 177.50 strike. And I'd imagine those were puts. So, so in this case, it sounds like if you were on the lower time frame, as we can see on the 5-minute, it reversed and it pretty much went straight up and became a 3 up on the 5-minute. Now remember, like I was mentioning earlier, I'm not sure what time you came into the chat, but like I was mentioning earlier, Tesla opened up. Let me bring back my Thinkorswim. Tesla opened up. Give me 1 sec. Tesla opened up at our first profit target level. I'm not going to get puts because it's already blown past my entry and it's already hitting a target. So for me, the initial entry is gone. I'm not going to get into that because to me, that will be chasing. So what you would be doing instead is just looking for a TTL to get into the trend, to get into the bearish trend and take it back down. So in Tesla's example for today, you know, in the first 5 minutes, it just went straight back up. So if you got in at market open around here, or even when it was coming up, you're in my opinion, you would be chasing the trade because the trigger is already way too far away. You know, the trigger is, let's do this. So the trigger is all the way up here. And let's just say for the sake of the conversation, your stop is up here. If you're getting in when it's already down here at almost hitting target 1 or hitting target 1, your risk reward is horrible. Because instead of just taking $1.50 against me as a stop loss, I'm getting almost $3. I'm not going to do that. To me, that's silly. So you always want to wait for the best possible moment, which is either when it triggers, as close as possible. If it's like 15, 20 cents away from the trigger, sometimes I'll get into it, but with a reduced size because my stop loss is a little wider now. But if it's all the way down here where you're getting in, just leave it alone. It doesn't make sense to chase that trade. So in this case, you would just wait for a TTL that never appeared. So there wouldn't be any trade that I would have taken, like I mentioned. Yeah, you mentioned that you got in when it triggered 2 down, but it was a gap 2 down. It didn't open as a 1 and then it triggered. It opened up down here. So the candle didn't open up here and then it triggered. It opened up here and then it came back up. So while it was a 2 down and it triggered a 2 down, if you entered in down here, you got in on the gap down as opposed to opening up here and then heading down. I'll see if I can show you an example on Bitcoin. So maybe this can make a little more sense on what I mean. So let's just say for the sake of the conversation, so we just triggered a 2 up. So as we can see, the 2 up already triggered down here. So if I'm gonna get in, I'm getting in here. So instead of my stop loss, let's say, for example, if I got in here, what is that? Let's do long position. Then my stop will be there. Let's say my target is here. So instead of my stop loss being $17, my stop loss now, because I chased it, is 20 points instead. So now I'm increasing my risk because I'm getting in late. I'm not getting in as soon as it triggered the trade. So you never want to get in late and you never want to chase it. Remember, there is no reason to chase a trade because if it's going to be a trending day, a TTO is going to form. It just is what it is. That's how it is. You know, for example, let's look for a trend day. Let's go on SPY. Let's see if I can find a clean example. All right, let's highlight this so I don't forget it. And there are other good examples. I just want to show you guys ones that are a little cleaner for the eye. All right, so let's go on the 4 hour. Was that on this day? It opened up inside and then it triggered. Maybe NVIDIA will give us a cleaner one. Let's check this day. Not the best example, but I'll use it anyway. So we have a long above level here. So in this case, we gapped up. So instead of it opening here and then triggering long, it opened up all the way up here. So what it sounds like what happened today is for Tesla, when it gapped down and it had a big gap and then you got in for puts, the entry is already too late. You have all of this that, it passed you already. So you would be chasing. You don't want to do that. You just want to wait for a TTO. If it's going to be a trend day, it's going to form. You just have to wait. So for example, on this day for NVIDIA, it's not the cleanest TTO that I would prefer, but we'll use it as an example. We got the push up, we got the push down, and then it reversed back up. So you would have went long right there on that 2 down, 2 up on the 5 minute. Another place you could have entered, again, not the cleanest version, but we can use it. We get the push up, a little pullback, and then you go long off that hammer. That's a second entry you could have taken. I think the 15-minute has a cleaner version. Not really that day. Not even the 30-minute. But yeah, in this case with those TTOs, you can get in with the trend at the best possible moment. So instead of me buying market or whatever it is to get in the trade because I missed all this move, and let's say getting in here and my stop loss is all the way down here for whatever reason, instead we wait for a TTO and we will get in here. My stop loss would be under this candle there. So now let's say if I'm aiming for, let's say I'm aiming for 10 points for the sake of the conversation. I usually take profit every 5 points on NVIDIA. So in this case with NVIDIA, I'm getting in here. My loss is limited. It's a lot less than all the way down here or wherever your stop loss might have been. And I'm still catching the best possible entry as opposed to getting in up here or getting in on this 2 up or getting in on this first candle that immediately came back down. So you always want to wait for TTOs if it gaps up or gaps down. There's no point in chasing trades. The market's not going anywhere. Any questions on that? Making sense? Confusing? If I can live trade for 30 minutes, 1 to 2 days a week, I don't live trade with my group anymore, or in general. I used to live trade, but I stopped doing that. I get too distracted and it affected my trading. So the most that I'll do, like I said, whatever's on my watch list, that's what I'm taking. So the same thing that's on my watch list and the same entries I have is the same way that you're entering, same way that I'm entering. Remember, everything, like I give it to you guys on a silver platter. If it triggers close to the original entry, I'm getting in. If it gaps up or down, I'm waiting for a TTO. That's literally all I do. So the most I will do is maybe alert sometimes when I get in, which I don't really do because I've noticed that when I do that, it affects some people in the sense of they get distracted or they might get influenced with what I'm saying, which makes sense. I'm the leader of the group, so it would make sense to follow what the leader's doing. But again, my goal is to make everybody self-sufficient. That's why a lot of people in the group, you don't see people talking a lot, because everybody that I work with and my students, they know when you're trading, you are trading, not you in the group, not you and your friends. You are trading, nobody else. If you want to talk with people, do that when you're done. For me, I'm a little better at doing both since I support obviously my group and other groups, but for usually the first 30 minutes to the hour, I'm locked in and I don't like distractions. Maybe in the future, I'll change my mind. But for now, I don't live trade. I just post my watch list. If I see a setup, maybe I'll alert it futures wise, but otherwise I don't live trade. Cool. But yeah, many trades that you guys took that you want me to go over? Any other ones? Any questions? Can you show a TTO on IWM? Definitely. I'll show you two. I think that was a good bearish one yesterday. Let's see. All right, we had one here. Let me just expand this so I can find it on the higher time frame. All right, so on this day, we had a gap up off a 2-1 setup. Cool. So 4-hour triggers up. So in this case today, obviously we gapped up and entry was supposed to be here, but we gapped up about 60 cents. IWM only moves $3 a day, so that could be pretty substantial. Hey, Darlene. So in this case, for IWM, we have the push up, we have the push down, and then we have the reversal back into continuity. So we would have went long right there. So this trade would look something like this. Stop loss under the TTO. You could have, my first target is usually the completion of the TTO, so like a new high of day. So this trade here, if I would have taken it, would have taken 1, 2, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes to play out. So on the 30 minutes later, it hit the first target when it completed the TTO, and then it kept on trending higher. So remember, you want to take high probability trades. You don't want to just buy market because it triggered 60 cents away from your entry. That doesn't make sense. You want to risk, or you want to keep your risk to a minimum as best as you can. So this will be a TTO here on IWM. I haven't made a video on time continuity. I'll probably do that over the weekend. I have pretty much all the other components of the strat, but time continuity, so I'll talk more into that. Generally, like you guys probably have seen in the on the man, what's the word? I can't think of it right now. On my channel where I talk about TTOs, generally I wait for the 4 hour to be green, and the 1 hour, and of course the daily as well, because I have 3 higher time frames that are bullish. So all I'm doing is waiting for a reversal back into bullish continuity on a lower time frame, whether it be the 5-minute or the 15-minute, and that's it. Again, you want to keep it simple. You don't want to make trading overcomplicated, because the more complicated you make it, the more complicated it's going to be. Literally all I do is use 3 time frames when I'm day trading. The 4 hour for the initial entry. If I miss that, the 5 or 15-minute, that's it. Again, keep it simple so your brain is not all over the place. Did that make sense, Darlene? Or this TTO here? Sweet. And then for on the bearish side, obviously there's bearish TTOs. I just like to call them H patterns. Shout out Trust My Levels, because they just look like H's. Lowercase h's to be specific, because people are like, I don't see the H. It's like it's not an uppercase H, it's lowercase h, or a dead cat bounce that people might know it as. Yeah, so like on this day, you had a gap up, but then it came back down. You had a bearish TTO here, had another one there. Some of them are cleaner than others. Let's check the 30-minute. Was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Somebody told me about. Let's see. This is 9:30. No, yeah, it was yesterday on the 30-minute time frame. So 30-minute time frame. Let's get this level. It's Thursday. All right, so let's get rid of this line so this can make a little sense. Short below. 30-minute time frame. So in this case, for IWM, we trigger short, so we're red on the 4 hour, red on the 1 hour, and the daily is red as well. So we had the move down, have the move back up, and then the move down. Where you would get into on the TTO would be on 212 down right here. So I would get in as soon as that breaks. My stop loss would be up here. My first take profit level would be the completed H. In this case, it's only 20 cents. That's like nothing for IWM. So I'll probably aim for the candle low down here. Right there. That's half a delta. That could be pretty good depending the DTE that you're trading, whether it's 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. Then Thursday, yeah, there was a TTO on the 5-minute too that appeared a little later on, I think, which was, yeah, all the way here. The 30-minute one was there. The 5-minute one was here. So you got them that 2 down. Boom. So 2 down. And you would have caught, what's that? Yeah, that was the 20 cents from the 30-minute. To me, that wouldn't really be worth it. But hey, still winning trade nonetheless. So on Tesla, are you asking if there was a good trade on Tesla today? To me, there was no good trade on Tesla because it already gapped down and hit my low point, and it didn't didn't create a TTO. So to me, there was nothing to do. Not only that, but we're kind of just bouncing. We're just chopping all day. I don't use fibs to trade in between levels for options. I just use fibs for extra targets. The only time I would have traded Tesla, if it was kind of like bouncing off of levels, it would be off the broader informations that I have drawn here. So for me, for Tesla, there was nothing to do. There was no trade that I would have taken at all. This is just chop all day. Literally all day, just chop. So to me, there was nothing to do for Tesla today. And there was an inside day. So remember, when there's an inside day, that signifies consolidation, and you might get caught up in chop. Obviously, or of course, with the 4 hour, we're getting in a little earlier. But with the daily being inside, it had to break this high and this low to not be inside, to be directional. So it was just a choppy day. So you want to pay attention if the daily is inside. You can reduce your size. You don't want to trade full size for that. So even though it triggered short on the 4 hour, we still have to clear these highs and these lows to trigger the daily. So it was a little riskier to go full size today. Any questions on that? Any other trades you guys want to go over? If there is no other questions or trades, we can wrap up in a bit. This Sunday is going to be the next Trader Circle. I posted it in the chat. So for those who may be new here that are not in any of the groups that I'm in, or if you know me from either Reddit or Instagram or wherever else you may know me from, once a month I hold a group coaching session. So any questions that you have that, if whatever you need help with, you can join us. It's going to be this Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I hold my own every Tuesday or every second Sunday of the month, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's free to sign up. So you're more than welcome to join us. Just be sure in the questionnaire when you do sign up that you let me know what you want to go over and what questions you have, just so I can better be prepared to answer your question when the time comes. And preferably, if you guys can please, give as much detail as you can, because when somebody says, let me see if I can find an example real quick. I'm not going to shout out any names, but somebody said learning basics. What does that mean? Basics is a big spectrum. We can go over support and resistance, market structure, strategy, mindset, expectations, what to trade. There's many things in that context, or that category. So if you guys can, give more direction, and if you don't know, that's okay. We can talk on the actual call to get to the bottom of what you're trying to ask, and that works as well. But just for for me to be better prepared, I would definitely appreciate it if more detail was given. Alicia, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, so the Trader Circle is essentially a free group coaching session that I have every second Sunday. So while I do charge for my one-on-one sessions, I like to give to the community and have free sessions, the way I'm doing the trade recap for today, as well as for those Trader Circle moments. So for those who are not in my communities or in my group or in other groups that I'm in, I give the opportunity for them to come in and get free coaching by me and all of us together so we can learn together. And you can literally ask me anything. I'll literally tell you my strategy step by step if you want it. The only thing that I cannot go over is Fibonacci retracements, the way Trust has taught me. Oh, Aisha. Aisha, right? Is that how I pronounce it? Cool. All right. Thanks. Sorry about that. Yeah, YouTube just has it looking like an L. But yeah, for those who have not signed up, you're more than welcome to. I have probably like 6 or 7 months in advance that you can sign up for, and it will always be the same link to sign up. So if you sign up this month and then you want to sign up for next month, the same link that you used is going to be the same link to sign up forever. So you can just keep that somewhere, and you can sign up ahead of time. I have somebody who signed up for the next 5 months straight, so that you can just get notified, when it happens. Again, I appreciate everybody for coming out today. Again, for all my viewers and everybody who supports the channel, definitely appreciate you. I'm here for you guys and to help you get to where you want to be. Again, for those who may not be in my group, it's only $25 to sign up one time. Don't go to Starbucks for 2 days and you'll be good. There's a ton of resources in there. We'll go over trades a lot more often in there. My setups that I take, and pretty much a ton of stuff is in there, really. Like I mentioned, I post my daily watch list there basically every day with exact entries, etc. Different channels. All the Strat stuff is in the Strat Academy. So for those who are in there, please stop asking me because it's right there. If you're new, I have a beginner's guide, a ton of educational material here, covering a lot of stuff. Some of the specific trades that I take are in the playbook section, so you can take a look at that, and other tools to help you better succeed in your trading. Let me post that in the chat here for those who may not have it. Give me a sec. There we go. All right. I posted the money in, I think the money. I posted the link in the chat. I got to take a nap after this. That's the link if you guys want to join my group or if you want to book a session with me, whatever it may be, I'm here for you. Other than that, I appreciate all of you for coming out, and I will see you guys on the internet. Thank you again. Absolutely. I appreciate you guys. I will see ya. Take care.